Carson Wentz in his first season with the Washington Commanders, as we get closer and closer to week 1 for them. Here's Wentz talking about where the offense is as the real games approach.
Feel good. It's exciting. Obviously, we've put some good, some bad, some ugly out on tape, and it's not been perfect. But I think I like where we're at. I like the mindset. I like the makeup. Definitely not perfect, and we'll be building and growing as a team really every week, every time we step on the field. But the body of work we've had from OTAs, the summer, training camp, and then preseason games, I really like where we're at, and I'm optimistic.
Everybody's optimistic now, though. I mean, let's be realistic. Everybody is optimistic at 0-0, especially after we saw what the Bengals did last year. I know they had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but you don't find out until you start playing the games.
Yeah.
One week after another, teams are going to win, teams are going to lose. You know, we've had the text conversation on the PFT writers thread, and an observation was made because there are so many teams that we thought were going to be good that maybe there were some signs of cracks. And one of the writers said, boy, a lot of teams are going to suck this year. And my response was, no, because there's going to be a winner every game. Unless they're all 9-8 or 8-9, and it's Pete Rozell's dream, and everybody goes into the last week of the season alive for the playoffs, which makes for an exciting Week 18, but not all that much of an exciting Week 1 through 17 if there really isn't excellence.
Yes.
But for every bad team, there must be a good team, because for every loser, there is a winner. So somebody's going to win these games. Somebody's going to do well. It may not be the teams that traditionally have done well, which makes it even more exciting, but somebody's going to do it. And even the Commanders, with all the dysfunction, with all the crap, with all the questions, Ron Rivera is still a damn good coach.
That's right.
And one of the ingredients in surprising everyone is walking into the season with everyone saying, who we play this week? The Commanders. We're fine. That's how you start letting the Commanders win a game here, win a game there, and next thing you know, they're viable and relevant in December.
Yeah. They're one of those teams, Mike, that it's hard to pinpoint where, and again, I don't think they're going to be real bad or anything like that, but it's like, how good can they be? You know, they're one of those teams where I look at and go, ooh, they're fringe playoff conversation, but if they got in the playoffs, I wouldn't be shocked. There's pieces that are kind of special and you know, blue chippers there. Again, I know we're waiting for Chase Young to get back healthy, but what I remind everybody too is Chase Young's not the best pass rusher on their team anyways. Montez Sweat is there. You know, Jonathan Allen in the middle is real. You know, offensively, I question the offensive line a little bit. I do, because they got some new pieces, some young guys there, journeymen, where you just go, okay, how is this going to work? How dominant can they be? But at the same time, you can look at Carson Wentz and go, wait, Carson Wentz's physical ability, and he's got an amazing receiver in Terry McLaurin. And, wow, if Curtis Samuel can stay healthy, wow, that's pretty damn good. Jahan Dotson, their first-round pick from Penn State, looks like he's the truth. And then you add in Logan Thomas at tight end, you go, well, they got guys that can make some plays. That's for sure. So they're a team to me that's kind of hard to figure out. I think, one, because of, you know, maybe the O-line questions, the dysfunction you're talking about, and then the Carson Wentz factor to a degree. You know, I think between that's where it's like hard to pinpoint exactly where they're going to be, but I don't think either one of us would be like, oh, I wouldn't be fall off the chair shocked. I'm not going to pick them to win the NFC East, but if they we're going down late in December and it's them and the Eagles fighting to win the NFC East, I'm not going to go, oh my gosh, I never thought this would have happened. There's some pieces there. It's just one of those where you put it, and I got to see it to believe it a little bit first before I can, you know, stamp it with approval.
Okay, so with an over-under win total of 7.5, and remember, it is now a 17-game season if you missed all of last year. 7.5 over-under. They were 7-10 last year, and it was regarded as a disappointment because they won the division the year before. Are you over, or are you under 7.5?
Yeah, the NFC East, I mean, they play the AFC South and the NFC North. They have a pretty favorable early schedule. I mean, as far as they're going to play a team in Jacksonville and Detroit who are still finding their way a little bit. You know, the Eagles, I know, are really talented. Cowboys, we don't know about them. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we were sitting here going, wait, they're 3-1. I'm going to go the over here. But I don't know if it's going to be much over. I don't feel like, oh, wow, I see 10 or 11 games on the horizon. I'll go 7.5 because Yeah, I feel like it'd be more 8 than 7 or 6, I guess. But I think that win total to me for right now is pretty damn close. But I'll take the over for now.
I will too. And schedule structure is so important. And I don't think we focus on it enough. I know you and I do, but I just think fans generally, media generally, needs to really look at that early season schedule because they could pick up some wins and they could pick up some momentum. And we know what will happen. After the first week, we're going to overreact to what happens either way, win or lose. After 2 weeks, if they come out of this 2-0 and is it crazy to think they're going to come out of this 2-0?
No, not at all.
Crazy.
Not with the Jaguars and Lions.
I'm not saying it's likely, but it's not crazy to think it'll happen. And then you got a couple of rivalry games. You got a couple of divisional opponents. You don't know what's going to happen. And injuries are a factor too, and they go week by week by week. A team is either going to stay healthy or it's going to disintegrate. You may come across a team that has a key absence when you get into the meat of the schedule.
That's right.
But they got some winnable games there.
They do.
I think they can get to 8. I think they can get to 8 and 9.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And
There's
and
no
again, I
murderer's
continue
row
to be
stretch to your point where you look at it and go, "Whoa, those 5 games are insane." Yeah, there's a game, but they got a game that's winnable in between every now and then that makes you feel like, okay, they can keep the momentum going.
Look at the other half. At Texans, Falcons, and they got the giant sandwich around their bye.
Right.
Those are all winnable games in large
question.
part because we don't know where those teams are going to be then. The Giants could be dead in the water again, and if the last decade holds, they will be. And again, it's a division rivalry, so it's going to be a tough game. It could go either way, but there's 8 wins there. There are 8 wins there for the Washington Commanders, in large part because for all the dysfunction, for all the stupidness, for all the self-inflicted wounds, I am a firm believer in Ron Rivera. He is the best thing that organization has going by far, and he could be good enough to help lift the organization to 8 wins, which would be regarded as, I think by most people, an astounding outcome to the season.
I think so. I think that would be from where they are, the things they've had to deal with. I don't see how if they were 8 and 9 or 9 and 8, that's a win for sure. I think, and Ron Rivera has been the steady, calm presence there to now we're getting close to football to where, to your point, he makes us believe a little bit that he'll get things going in the right direction, and I think there's enough talent there to go, oh, okay, I could see that happening.
All right, how about the New York Giants? An over-under for them also of 7.5, even though they won only 4 games last year. This is the latest attempted reboot of the Giants franchise with a new front office and a new head coach, but a lot of the same players. How much chicken salad can be made by the Giants? Can they get over 7.5 wins? And I know that you've got to set aside your boyhood fandom for this one.
Yeah.
Can you do it? Can you be objective and assess whether or not they get above that 7.5 mark?
I can be objective here, and I would take the under here. Again, I would be shocked if it's like a 4-13 type of season, but do I see 6-11 or 7-10 and a lot of pain in the butt, like losses where they gave a team a little bit of the run for their money that might have been better than them? Yeah, I think that's where I kind of look at it with the Giants. I think Daniel Jones will be better. I think the offensive line will be better, but I don't, if we're going to be able to write home about the offensive line yet and go, wow, it's really special. Defensively, again, I think it's going to be better because it's going to be more creative, but I would say too is, who are the big playmakers on the Giants defense? Who's the guy that's going to, Leonard Williams is by far their best player. Thibodeau, we know he's hurt. And he hadn't shown anything yet. So I just look at it that way and go, okay, there's still some questions to be answered, but I think they could be one of those teams where we go, 7-10, that was a positive 7-10 year. We're building on something. 2023 looks really good in New York. That's kind of the way I see it.
The Peter Principle was a theory that was coined largely tongue-in-cheek in the late 60s. The basic notion is we all rise to the level of our own incompetence because you keep getting promoted and promoted and promoted until you get to a job where you don't get promoted from because you're not any good at it. But it does apply in football, especially the NFL. I got a chapter about it in Playmakers. Haven't mentioned Playmakers.
Oh, good thing you got it in.
Available wherever books are sold. But we see it all the time. A guy who's never been a head coach becomes a head coach. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Maybe he has reached his ceiling. Maybe his ceiling is coordinator. Guys like Wade Phillips, all due respect. Norv Turner, all due respect. Much better as coordinators than head coaches. It is a fundamentally different job. We don't know. Just like we don't know what Trey Lance is going to be as a quarterback, we don't know what Brian Daboll is going to be as a head coach, and we're all going to find out, which, we kind of know with Brian Flores. Not to go back down that path, but we kind of know Flores can do it. We don't know Daboll can do it. We will find out, good, bad, or otherwise. And, hey, Vince Lombardi went from being a Giants assistant to one of the great coaches of all time once he got his opportunity. It all comes down to him. But that's another reason to there's too many uncertainties with the Giants.
Right.
I'm with you. I have to go under on them. Eagles. Ooh, Eagles getting some love at 9.5. Ooh, 9.5. 9.5. Expectations are high in Philly. Those fans are still juiced up about that Super Bowl from 4 years ago. They want another one badly. It's now 5 years, Eagles fans. How have you managed to survive for 5 years without a second Super Bowl? You went 52 without one. Hard to go 5 without 2 once you get a taste of it. Do you think the Eagles will be better than 9.5 wins this year?
Yes, I do. Again, the Eagles roster, it's phenomenal. It's a little bit like the 49ers. Right? And there's some quarterback questions, but I don't think they're the questions like the 49ers got. We know what Jalen Hurts is, and it looks by all accounts that he's even got better at throwing the football. And the one thing about this guy right here on the screen, Jalen Hurts, he doesn't let anything affect him. He doesn't care. He's a stubborn SOB. So what? You're going to trade for this guy. So what? I got this guy as a backup. I mean, so he's unflappable that way. So I don't worry about it, even though I don't go, whoa, this is a top 10 quarterback. But damn, the Eagles are one of the best rosters in football, hands down. Like, I look at them, and the 49ers as 2 of the top 5 teams in the game. And then, Mike, we talk about early season schedule, and I just go, whoa, okay. I don't know. I mean, the first 8 games of the year, 9 games of the year, they're the better team on the field on paper. There's no doubt about it. I know they got to go out and play the games, but nobody, as of it sits right now, I mean, I'm not taking the Lions to beat the Eagles. I'm not taking your Vikings to beat the Eagles. I'm not taking the Commanders to beat the Eagles.
How dare you?
Yeah, and I'm not taking the Jaguars. And then, hey, we get to Cardinals and Cowboys, and there's some talent there, but I just look at the Eagles and go, arguably best O-line in football, like you've heard me say. Good tight end. Superstars at receiver. Decent group of running backs. Great D-line. Linebackers pretty damn good. And then a really damn good secondary to go with it. I just go, there's only a game or two there's only a few games the whole year where they're going to step on the field and go, well, wow, this team poses some problems for us physically in this area or whatever. Every other game, they're going to go, well, we're better than them, period. Can we just play and not mess this up?
I agree with you. And I'm going to go over, although, and I really think Nick Sirianni should have gotten more credit for what he did last year. They pivoted to a run-based offense because the passing game just wasn't there. The question is, will Jalen Hurts rise to the occasion? They've made the investment in A.J. Brown, good friend of Jalen Hurts. I think that is a show of confidence, but also a challenge to Jalen Hurts. But I think they know that he's wired to get it done. I think that they know it's just amazing to think how much that team has changed in 5 years. And here they are back in contender status. And I really do think they fit that bill. They are contenders. I will put them at the over. The highest over-under win total in the NFC East belongs to the Dallas Cowboys at a whopping 10.5. A lot of bluster, a lot of big talk, a lot of salesmanship from Jerry Jones. It's been 27 years now since the Dallas Cowboys have made it even to the NFC Championship game. Are you over or under for a team that was 12-5 last year?
I'm going under for sure. No question. I mean, 12-5 last year, it was really good. There were some positives. I think the schedule fell the right way for them. I don't see. I'm going to go under here. I don't see. I could see maybe 9-8, and I'm not even going to say 10-7 is crazy, but I don't see 11-6 or 12-5 or 13-4. I just don't see that. I think they're a team that's fringes of a playoff team. And then, you talk about, hey, there's no Tyrone Smith early in the year, and we got issues there. Oh, yeah, the Bucs and the Bengals are the first 2 games. Great. 2 of the better pass rushing teams in the game. The running back situation, I question that. The receivers, we got to see how that plays out. It's a different group there. Are they really going to be as explosive on that side of the ball? Defensively, like we talked about, I don't know if they're going to be better. That's the other thing. I mean, they were the 19th ranked defense in football last year, and we acted like this is like the top 5 defense because they were just so shitty the year before and the worst defense. So I don't see it, Mike. I don't. I just have too many questions, I think, across the roster. Plus, I just feel like another year of everybody kind of getting a feel for McCarthy and the Kellen Moore offense, and Dan Quinn's defense is not going to surprise as many people this year in Dallas with the NFC East. I think it'll be a little bit of a down year as compared to last year for Dallas.
I agree with you. They do a great job every year of making us think they're going to be better than they ultimately are. Every once in a while, they'll rise up and surprise us. Last year, 12-5, a bit of a surprise. The year before that, plenty of hype, plenty of expectation, 6-10. The Dak Prescott injury obviously didn't help that outcome. The year before, there's always hype, 8-8, a year after they won the division. They ping pong. I look back to 2014, playoffs and first place in the division. In 2014, last place the next year. Playoffs the next year, no playoffs the year after. Playoffs the next year, 2 years no playoffs. Last year, playoffs. It's a recipe for consistent mediocrity to, at times, slightly above average, which would explain why when you go back over the course of the last 27 years, and it all starts really in 97, playoffs, no playoffs. Playoffs, no playoffs. And we know how long they went between playoff wins, and now they are 27 years between Final Four appearances in the NFL. So I'm with you. 10.5, too much for this Cowboys team. And prove us wrong. Prove us wrong, but I have a feeling they won't. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.